Here is another DTW update. I now have one of my 1000Ds up here, along with the 102 for you those that are interested, and a little bit of the library. There's the chart and the wall, which is going to be all bookcases and radio bench there. The house is kind of helter-skelter still. We do have the cooler put in permanently now. I just have to paint it. There's our scanner, printer, Marilyn's pictures on the wall. And there's one of her very first pictures she ever painted when she was a little child. She probably was 7 or 8 years old when she did that one. There's the ranch down there in California. Coming through here by the 2 bedrooms. Bringing stuff up here. As you can see, I've got a lot of stuff to put away. That's where Marilyn spends a lot of her time, right here. And some of the more of her pictures there. I've been building the YouTube website, and this is how I'm doing it. I'm using 2 computers with all of the internet programs you can put on there, 3 or 4 on each computer. The little one really does more than the big one does by a long shot. There's the stove top we put in, and our living room, and my shield brought up here. And a picture of Fish Lake when we were just there today. It's not there anymore, but there's the buffalo skulls. Some of our lamps. Another buffalo skull there with sweet grass on it. And in here is the Alpha 87A that is now here. But not hooked up. As you can see, this is one from one end of the house to the other. It's not hooked up at all. Looking out my bedroom in the morning, I look out here, you see White Mountains. This is a beautiful, beautiful view. Of course, it's gonna, I don't think you can see that, but anyway, there are the White Mountains. Boundary Peak, Montgomery Peak, and the White Mountains up there. That's what I see in the morning when I get up. That couldn't be any better than that. And we'll go outside. I'm going to take you and show you all the wildflowers. Our yards are just loaded with wildflowers. We'll go out the back door, I think, and come around down the hallway. A picture of John Wayne up there riding that Appaloosa horse. And we'll go out this back door here. This is very convenient for old people. When I was young, I didn't need this, but I do now. Having a garage hooked onto the house where you don't have to be out in the weather. Here's our refrigerator out here, and some of our Aladdin lamps. That's one of the little Aladdin lamp that puts out 60 watts of light and 7,000 BTUs of heat, 17,000 BTUs of heat. This is into the garage. We still need one more coat of paint on the floor, and you probably hear everything echoing in here. There's a generator we will hook up. Our safe. Looking here. Marilyn's father had Packard cars, and that's a thermometer that he got from them, I'm sure, when he bought 2 new Packard cars. This is the guest house. We need to get one more mattress. This is our little freezer in here, another microwave. And anyway, this is the guest house. We'll put a little table and chairs in here. And it goes outside there separately. We still haven't got the locks on the door like they should be. to get my shoe on my foot. Now, this is pretty neat because the lights come on when the door opens up. I know a lot of you people lived in fancy homes all your life. I didn't. This is pretty neat for me. Come out here, there's a lot of stuff here, a lot of trash still to pick up. But, you know, we did our recordings in that little old building there, little 12 by 12 building for 5 years. And that was rough to do. Looking down on the creek from up here, they were supposed to pour the concrete here last Friday, but as you can see, the concrete is not here. The trees are all awake, and we're going to go this way. Say hi to Marilyn. She's sitting outside getting sun today. Here are the trees. There's our little cross she put up out there in my new tower. That's up. I've got a lot more towers on the ground that still aren't up yet. We'll say hi to the kitty cats. There's wildflowers all over this place. Yellow, or yaller, as I used to say. And white, and pink, and red. And there's Monkey, my little blind cat, and Whitey. And there's Kitty laying upside down. Isn't that a pose? And Coley and Gumbo. Everybody is in here in the little kitty house. Kitty, you look so cute, laying upside down like that. Monkey, say hi to us. Coley and Gumbo. And Whitey. They're taking it easy today. There's ictomy there. Ictomy, that is an Indian language. That's a spider. See if I can get that in there without him trying to bite me or something. And there's our anvil, and there's the WPA grinding stone from all the way from Franklin Roosevelt's time. This is my shop that is going to be in the shop pretty soon. And there's Marilyn over here with her Hollywood glasses on, sitting out here getting some sunshine with her apron on, of course. Marilyn wouldn't look right without her apron. Back in here and look at her from further away. Somebody threw away a wheelbarrow the other day, and I got a hold of it. I've got an old iron wheeled wheelbarrow down there. I think that tub will fit right on it. Say hi to everybody, Marilyn.
Hi there, with both hands.
Hi with both hands. How you feeling now? Tell everybody how you feel.
Good.
Did you make it?
Yes.
Yeah, we almost lost her, but she's all right. She's doing better. Now I'm going to go out here. We're going to go down all the way around the trees. I've got to cut these wildflowers away from the propane tank, and the propane tank is going to go out there about another 50 feet or so, or 100, away from the house. Actually, it's 100 foot or so away from the house right now, which is very comfortable, but and that's looking back at the house. And as you can see, there's a lot of junk out here that's got to be straightened up yet, but it will live long enough. There's all the wheels and stuff that they brought the home in on, the modular home. And you can see the pine trees are really growing right along. The grapes are waking up and putting out a lot of vines. Now we come down through here. I've got to trim the bottom branches off these trees now. They're too big. They're coming in toward the grapevines and everything. I have to take them off. In Indian, the cottonwood trees, the poplar trees, are called the rattling leaves, the tree of the rattling leaves. Now there is a currant bush right there. Looks like I might have to give it some more water. That is a apricot tree that's not getting enough sun now. And the cherry tree, we got 20 pounds of cherries off of that cherry tree last year. And the carpet of wildflowers everywhere. Here's more grapevines. And right there is a wild currant out of Cottonwood Canyon. Not Cottonwood Canyon, but out of Trail Canyon. And I put some gopher traps out here, try to catch some of these gophers. These grapevines are doing really great. Keep the gophers from killing them. As you can see, they've grown right in. The trees are so big. Those are blackberries there. There's a stink bug down there trying to stink everything up. And they chew on the trees. Something's been chewing on this. There we come all the way around here to more of the old grapevines from the ranch. These are the old 100-year-old grapevines. There's the one that everybody kept eating off of that one and trying to kill it. The gophers killed one of our poplar trees on the corner here. If you look over there, there's the resident Bigfoot. 8-foot tall silhouette of him. All this is on a drip system here. And you can see the carpet of flowers everywhere. Yellow flowers everywhere in white. There's white ones there. All of our trees. Looking back toward the house with all that junk, I've got to get away out of the way of it when we finally get our porches on and everything. Looking down here, there's my little shooting range right there. Looks like a lot of animals been going up and down through here. A lot of animal tracks. Probably the animals were coming down through here, probably hiding out through there. As you can see down through here, the yellow is everywhere, the carpet of yellow. Here's more of the towers laying on the ground. We'll have to put them up one of these days. That looks like Daryl out there working on the tractor. What do you know about that? Maybe he's going to get it running. Here comes Coley. Got to follow me around. There's some of the towers there. Eddie, if you're looking there, there's a lot of Roan 45s there. I got to put up. And there's a 50-foot crank up, and then a 100-foot crank up, and another top of a Roan 25. Looks like they might be ready to start that thing. I got to cut the bottom branches off of this so they'll grow up. Looking down here, these trees are very large now. Looking back to the house, you can see this end of the house. I need to go turn the water on for a day or so. Trunks are 8 and 10 inches thick now. It's good, it's strong. A lot of these wildflowers. Daryl is the resident mechanic in Fish Lake Valley. As you can see, there's a Roan 25. There's a Roan 25 over there, a Roan 45 standing up over there. Got all the foundations in. There's a tree that blew out of the ground. It was right there. Hello, Daryl.
What's up?
Yeah, I'm a videotaping.
Uh-oh.
You're on the air. Are you getting it together?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, got the tranny back in.
You want to say hi to everybody all over the world?
Oh gosh, no.
There's a little black walnut tree right there. And some more. Hope it doesn't kill the trees around it. There's some more branches that I got off of the other trees that'll go all the way down there one of these days. This is looking back at the back of the house now with a blue roof all the way. We'll walk all the way down the creek from one end of it to the other. We have lost a few trees. There's a plum tree. It's got a lot of plum plants this year. Better show that to you. And then a blueberry yard. Now see, this is loaded with plums. A lot of plums on the plum tree this year. Do you have a lot of fruit on your fruit trees, Daryl?
Oh, got some.
Some?
Yeah.
Well, these are doing pretty good, I think.
Good. Thought we might get some apricots, but
Oh well, well, we got an apricot tree. I hope we get some of them.
yeah, ours bloomed a little too early, I think.
I threw my wire and some stuff in there. I'll have to get it out of that bucket.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. It's gonna be a day or so.
It's not going to be going right away, huh? Okay.
Oh no, I gotta go to Vegas.
Okay. You can still work on my truck when you get time.
Yeah. What if that day ever comes?
Yeah. I need the fuel filter and the belts in the front and stuff.
Okay.
And that false water pump. That should have been done a long time ago, but help is pretty poor up here. You just get what they give you, that's it. Whenever. And I'm sure you can hear the wind blowing. Not blowing hard, it's just a stiff breeze about 8 miles an hour, but it's probably making a lot of noise on the camera. I've got to put a mulch pile and a garden out here someplace. We'll put that here somewhere. That's real good ground over there. Along that area. Let's go down the creek. This was the tongues on the trailer, on the modular homes. Daryl Hudson's grandfather and father homesteaded in this country, and he's been here for quite a while. He didn't go to school here. I went to school here. But their father was Rod Hudson, the Hudson homestead down there. If you can look way down there, there's a red roof. That was Rod's. His brother just passed away a couple of months ago with pancreatic cancer. He didn't get much long. He's only been here about 4 years. He had Clay build that house for him, custom home, and they only lived a few years. It was sudden. Real good man, good family for 100 years. And the Wrights were his grandfather and grandmothers. We went out to the graveyard today and I visited my friends' graves. A lot of memories in this country. I built all these roads. Chelsea Phillips and Marilyn could get around and see this because I knew it was going to be not too long before she couldn't walk it. And so now I take her down here in the car. Got to cut this brush back, that tree, willow tree back. Did a lot of work on here lately. I've got to mow this this evening. I'm going to come down here with a lawnmower and go right along here and mow the grass down to look like a lawn. Still have to move some of these rocks. It's a beautiful creek. Marilyn wants me to bring her down here and let her fish. I see a fish down there in that creek right now. The ones here I don't like to eat. I throw them back if we catch them. She wants to eat them. So I told her I'd take her up to the pond. Now the pond is just up there about 9, 10, 11 miles from here. And it's full of fish. I gotta come along here. Something's been laying around here and Maybe a deer or antelope or something laying in there, mashing the grass down. And there's 5 bridges along here. You ought to smell this. It's beautiful with the sage. The trees blooming. The burning barrel. We cut a lot of brush out here lately. Got a lot more to do. A lot of fish in the creek. Pretty deep water in here. Some of this area is 6 foot deep in water. Narrow and it's deep. Go down through here. Now it's all the cherry trees and apple trees and everything up there. Now this is the apple tree here. A 3-way apple tree actually. There's our peach tree there. One of our peach trees I think has died on me. Too much water probably. And there is another plum tree. We go down through here and this will look a lot prettier after I mow it. Look like a golf course then. This was not here. It was all really brushy through here. There's a nectarine tree. Looks like it's doing all right. We got about 5 or 6 nectarines off of that tree last year. Looks like the top of it died out a little bit. In the creek. And there's another Stella cherry tree, and we got about a dozen cherries off of this one last year. It didn't do as well as the one up there. And we'll see what it does this year. Hopefully we'll have cherries off of this one. We have about 6 cherry trees, I think. Used to be a little bridge right here. Now it's grown over some. Another area to drive the tractors down here, the mow, and for transportation without walking. Walking's good for you, but I do too much of it. There's a good fishing hole right down in there. Sometimes I walk 10, 15 miles a day, and my feet are just worn out. Got to cut those branches back soon. And we'll poke you. Now I saw fish running a minute ago. There's some running down in there. There's a big one right down underneath this ledge. Big German brown female. Maryland's little statuaries, and my little elephant heart plum tree has just about died on me. Just a little bit of it left is all. There's another plum tree. That's Santa Rosa plum. And of course I've got to check the gophers in this area, and there's a peach tree there. And I'll be mowing this later today. We're going to have a little, hopefully, we'll have a little like park benches in there and a concrete with a place here to come down and preach. Here's the wild roses, and they're in full bloom. Very pretty. Another one of our bridges, and that is a plum tree with a tumbleweed on top of it. Satsuma plum. And this big, these are very large birch trees, and the willows. That was the pulpit when I preached down here on the creek. We'll do that again one of these days. There's another 3-way apple tree. and it was just loaded with blossoms. And you can see up there close, the blossoms are still there. Maybe they're going to make apples. We had a few apples off of this tree last year. There's apples showing. Little apples here and there. And this is a Montmorency cherry tree. And it looks like the little cherries all over it. Montmorency is a very good tree. There's one sticking out there very large. That little cherry. The birds don't like these too much because they're sour pie cherries. They're not real sweet. The stellar cherries are. Looking down on the creek, it's running a little bit low right now because of all the people are taking water out of it here and there. There's wild watercress there. I'm going to plant some mint along here also. I brought some mint up here from the Cottonwood Creek. Now we come out the other end of the creek. Now you can go all the way through. All these big boulders were in the way here. I moved all these big boulders. That was not easy. I did it by myself. Me and my little Kubota tractor and me. Almost every evening it clouds up on the White Mountains and snows. All through the year. Rabbit brush and white sage in here. White sage smells so good, and that is the Indian tea. And I do make Indian tea every now and then. I've been a little careful about everything with Marilyn. She cannot have any salt at all with her congestive heart failure. And the 19th of last month of April, I took her to the hospital in Bishop, and they did not give her but 2 or 3 days to live. She was so bad. There was nothing I could do. It was nothing that I was doing was enough. Just didn't have the technology to do any more. So they put her on IV Lasix and monitored her kidneys and everything, and they brought her back from the dead. Down on that ranch, straight down there, is where 3 Frank Lloyd Wright buildings are. 1 house and 2 barns, which are fantastic. I need to go down there maybe, and I think I did videotape it, I'm not sure, on the great ranches of Fish Lake Valley. You're looking at this now from a different angle, the house. We will probably put a blue roof on the or paint the roof blue there on our little cabin, and hopefully sooner or later move the wood burning cook stove out there into the house for next winter at least. Hopefully I can live that long. A lot of work to do. They're off chasing around doing work someplace else instead of here again. They're building homes all up and down the creek. I don't want these things, these shiny roofs up there. There's houses all up this creek. That's Boundary Peak and Montgomery Peak, and then White Mountain Peak at 14,252 feet, and there's a lot of 14,000 foot mountain peaks there. The tallest point in Nevada is Boundary Peak, and that's just over 13,000 and something. Montgomery Peak is even taller. That's where we go up there to the pond. This is our water well. Now, you people that have followed us all along, we came in right there. That's as far as we could come. All this is 4-wheel drive here. We could pull the motorhome in the gate only. This ground, it would just sink down in the sand here. And we watered it down and packed it down and made roads. And that's how I water all the trees, is with that faucet there. Let's see if Marilyn in the house yet. It's nice to be able to come up here. I know a lot of you have this where you are. I've never had this before in my life. But we can come up here and open the door. That's really nice. And drive in. Here's a little cabin where we cooked and lived for more than 5 years. Pretty much abandoned now. The stove is still here, you can see. Our water tanks for a well house. Old lariats when I was cowboying. There's not much left in here now. We had our table, we had our recording, we had the camera back there and shooting against this wall here. That's where we did probably 200 or 300 videos in this little room. It always looks big on camera. Well, we'll go here. Before I go in the garage, I'm going to look and see how Marilyn is. See if she's still out here in the sunshine. Maybe. Nope, she's in the house now. That's the old single tree. Old hay hooks from so many years ago. That single tree farmed the land down in east of Bakersfield where I lived and grew up down there. That's an Ace of Wild, the freight hauler with wagons and oxen here. That was the tongues off his wagons. That's the camp stove for the Cord Ranch and the Lighty Ranch. And that's a Studebaker axle off of one of Ace of Wild's wagons. That's a wagon wheel hub. A lot more work to do. Hopefully we'll get the porches down here and around the front. At least we have room now. This was something we didn't have before. We were in tight quarters here. Marilyn's health, it's a good thing we got this home because she would not have been able to live here at all in the motorhome that we lived in. It would have been impossible. This is our nice, large shop, which should have been bigger. You never build a shop big enough. God bless you. Thank you for your prayers and your support. We need it. Please continue to pray for us and help us if you can. God bless you.